everyone? Chris here. Happy Memorial Day weekend for all of you guys in the US here. I've been driving the Challenger all week and it's time for me to swap it out, and I like to wash them before I swap them out with one of the ladies over here. So I thought I would show or film another detailing video, more so highlighting some of the products that I use. I get comments all the time asking what products I use on my cars, and I thought that I would do that for you all today. So I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just gonna wash the car. I'll show you guys some of the products that I like to use. I've been detailing cars since before I could even drive, and over the years I found some that are my favorites, some that are okay, and the Adams stuff currently is top of the line, the top of the list I should say. What I like to use is just a little bit of car shampoo. I put it in my wheel bucket just to give the tools inside of here a little cleaning aid as they sit. Adams tire and rubber cleaner, which I will eventually replace with just, what is this called? Wheel and tire cleaner. It's kind of an all-in-one, a little bit more friendly on the higher end brakes like carbon ceramics, but I need to use up this wheel and tire, or tire and rubber cleaner first. So I'm going to use that on the tires, this on the wheels. I always start with the wheels just because it's been a habit of mine. I think that's what most people do anyway. Maybe that's where I picked it up from, but as long as I can remember, I always start with the wheels, maybe because they're the dirtiest. I don't know why, there's no real reason. Besides for them being the dirtiest, then everything doesn't spray onto a clean car. So these smoking, I did a little acceleration, probably saw it in the intro. These brakes, Brembos, they're really great brakes, don't get me wrong, but they produce an insane amount of brake dust. So I have to use a pretty liberal amount of wheel cleaner on them. Alright, I'll stop talking, I'm just going to clean. This is just the tire and rubber cleaner. Sits for a bit. Take a fresh wash mitt. This is the Credit mitt, I believe. I'm going to use, this is probably my favorite shampoo currently, Ultra Foam. Partially because of the way it smells. It smells incredible. Get a couple squirts in there. Froth it up. So I got my wash bucket from Obsessed Garage and my rinse bucket. So if you're not familiar with my channel or how most details work, this is called the 2-bucket method, and they put their clean mitt into the wash bucket. So this will go right from the bucket to the car and then into the rinse bucket. So anything I take off the car gets trapped into the mitt. Ideally would be rinsed off and washed away inside the rinse bucket and kept in there, and then you take that essentially clean mitt back into the wash bucket and continue the process from there. From the top down, just because I want all the dirt on the top to rinse onto the dirt on the bottom, not vice versa. You don't want to clean the lower rockers and bring all that dirt back up just for it to kind of come down back onto the area you just cleaned. Makes sense? since I reviewed this Big Boy, what do they call this? Big Boy Pro or something like that. This thing is air blower. I've become obsessed with it. I got it initially to do a majority of the drying, not all of it, because I usually use like a drying aid, but I've used it maybe a dozen times now so far washing cars that I haven't filmed, and I've realized that the best way to use it is to dry the vehicle 100% as much as I can with the blower right here, and then I go around and I take a sealant spray, like Adam's coating or something like that, some type of hydrophobic ceramic-ish spray, and I go and do all the detail stuff with that. So now I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna plug the Big Boy Pro in, I'm gonna dry this thing 100% as much as I can. You probably saw me rinsing it off. I was really trying to get into the jams and the creases, like the door jams and stuff, to get as much of that soap out of there as possible. It just makes the drying process a little bit easier. Okay, so this thing really does a nice job at drying it. It's probably like 98% dry. Even the wheels, you know, come down here, you touch them, they're gonna be nice and dry. Not gonna get much dripping from the mirrors by doing this. Same thing with like the door handles and emblems on the side. Now, at this point, what I would do is go to my cabinet of goodies here. If you ever wonder what I do behind the scenes, I'm always picking through this. I'm a huge Adams fan. Again, I said in the beginning, but I've done my trials and tribulations for which product I like to use the most, and Adams has been the most favorable choice. So I'm going to grab something like this, the spray coating. I've used this a lot, and it's one of my favorites because it's one of those ones that you spray on and you don't really see the effects of it for about like 24 hours. I'm spraying it on a ceramic coating, or I'm spraying it on a clear bra, but you know, the shininess and the slickness just gets better over time. That's the habit that I'm trying to create when I swap out cars. You know, this in the summertime, I did this at the Taycan, for example, probably like 3 weeks ago. I gave it a thorough wash, just like I did with the Challenger just now, and I do the inside, do the windows, I do this coating, and then I just park it. So this guy got done again about 2-3 weeks ago, and it's just sitting here ready to go. I want to get into the habit of putting the car in as good condition as I can on the lift in between using them, so I don't have to worry about wanting to use a car and having it be dirty. Hopefully that makes sense. I want to clean the car, put it away, kind of like your laundry. You want to clean your shirts and your pants, put them away until you're going to use them next time. I try to spray it on the towel versus on the paint because I've had fans on the air on. This stuff just goes everywhere. It's crazy. You're also supposed to put this on, let it sit for a minute or so until it rainbows up, and then buff it off. I kind of do that in one step. I'll go around and I'm putting it on thin, not very thick, not with an applicator pad or anything either. And it'll dry just in time for me to buff it off, all within the same minute or so that I spend rubbing it in to the clear bra. wheels are done. Next, I'm gonna put on some tire dressing. This is Ammo's Mud. It's probably my favorite tire dressing. I haven't used Adams yet. I used the VRT, the vinyl rubber trim, what I thought would be something I could use on tires, but I'm not really a fan of it. It leaves it too shiny, so I like to use Ammo Mud. Works really nice. Doesn't take much. Leaves the tires nice and dry and matte looking, just like that. Next, before I move into the interior, I want to apply this glass sealant. This is Griot's version. I do have Adams' version, but this stuff is getting pretty old. Doesn't say a date on there, but I bet it's like 7-8 years old. Anyway, I'm going to apply this to the glass. This takes about half an hour to cure. It's not like that coating I just applied. This I've actually, you gotta let sit for a little bit. So just like the coating, take a fresh applicator, a decent amount on there, and you go in a crosshatch motion on your glass. I like to do the border first. At about that half an hour mark, you could come back and not buff off the residue, but apply a second coating of it. You know, the same, with the same pad, same technique. Then come back half an hour later. I don't have that much time on my hands, so I'm just going to do the one coat, because by the time I'm done with the inside, all I'm going to do is vacuum it, and I'll probably clean these seats too. By the time I'm done with that, this should be ready to come off. I know these ones are clean, that's why I'm doing this like this, but this is like a daily driver that was a year old that never had this stuff applied to it before. You'd want to like clay the glass and really clean the hell out of it before you apply this stuff, so the coating has something to adhere to. It's time for the inside. I'm going to go around and use my favorite interior cleaner, which is Zano Z9 Leather Soft. Stuff not only makes this leather and pleather look really good, but also makes it smell amazing. Oh my gosh, I don't know if it's because the glass sealant is pretty old. You can see it right here on the windshield. But that took an abnormal amount of pressure and time to remove, and it's still not even great. But anyway, here she is, all cleaned up. I have decided to take out the C1, stretch her legs a little bit while I put this guy away for a few weeks. I rearranged some of the cars a little bit also. I'm going to throw the rest of the Taycan and put it on the Charger. Before I do that, let's get one more startup exhaust clip. I wish more cars came with this remote start. Alright guys, well I hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend. Thank you again for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. This car gets more attention, like thumbs ups, people turning their head and looking at it than almost any other car in the stable. Gotta love the classics.